Hello, HF. Whoa. Echo, echo. Don't want that. Let's try that again. Okay. Get rid of all that crap. That's sorry about that, guys. As I was saying, HVAC, it's really cool that you got your grandson to the LCS. It's always great to start them out young. Always great for them to get into it at an early age, so it becomes part of their everyday life. So as they become older, they just better they just embrace it as part of their daily thing, I guess. So I never had the opportunity to be in dealt with precious metals until this past year. So one of those shoulda, coulda, woulda situations. I wish I would have been more involved. My parents did not. We weren't very we weren't very rich by any stretch of the imagination. So the idea of saving anything, let alone precious metal, was a pipe dream. So I'm glad to see that. It's always good to see us getting our next generation or our next two generations or three generations involved in precious metals, because it will, if you start them out young, it will just become part of their life going forward and then into their adulthood. So good job on that. Hello, Gold Maple. Yeah, you got into it when you was 10 years old. Oh, yep. I like I said, what could not have the opportunity when I was growing up, but so good to see that others did have the opportunity. And it's very awesome to see that we are inspiring. We are getting the next generation or two or three involved in it. You know what was funny about that Gold Maple is, I remember the kids in elementary and high school and junior high school and then in the coin clubs and stuff like that, 35, 40 years ago. And I didn't think anything of it. I knew they existed, but I didn't have any interest in anything like that. And let alone like he also had your D&D groups, and just wasn't into that type of stuff. Nor was I a jock by that stretch of any stretch of the imagination either. I just wasn't into any of that stuff. I was into model railroading, trains, and riding bicycles everywhere across God's green creation. So that was my thing when I was growing up. Well, Eric, I put a video out yesterday, or actually this morning, about that early. And yeah, I'm not a believer. My video sort of sums it up, but for the most part, for me, I feel like the squeeze is just a hype, and it's only adding insult to injury to the manipulation. And only thing it's going to do is line the bullion dealers' pockets more than they already are. Because yeah, I think we will see an increase of the spot, but if the past was any indication of the the future, the price will go up, but then the price will come back right back down for the spot. But more than likely, the premiums will stay up and will go up and stay up because it's all about supply and demand. So will the bullion prices or will the premiums come down equally to the spot price? No, they won't. Especially if we're taking the product out of the market. I mean, again, it goes all the way back to economics 101 and supply and demand, really. Yeah, like I said, Go Maple. History for me, what's funny about that is you can have a lot of correlation between the history of a region or history of a country or something to that aspect, and you can tie that back to there's a lot of abilities of tying that back to the um, precious metals of the day, especially if you get back, if you go back 300 or 400 years, really, if you think about it. And when everything was strictly precious metal traded. I guess not. Maybe 300 or 400 years is a little too far back. I'm not a big history buff, but if you think about it, I mean, it wasn't until the in the 1900s, 1940s, I think it's really started changing in regards to the precious metal content of coinage. That's when things really started changing. It was basically the 1900 and going forward. And of course, we all know about the 1964 when they took the silver way out of the market entirely. And then let's not forget about the them banning gold in 1931, I think it was. So yeah, it's if you think about if you think about precious metal, it's been around long before this country ever was, and should this country ever implode, it's still going to stay. It's still going to be around. Yeah, I haven't checked to see, Eric, if how the inventory is doing at the big box stores. I haven't looked at them today. I made the decision to not do any acquirement today. I'm just going to sit back and wait and see how things work out in the next couple of days. I almost went over there to my LCS yesterday, and I thought, nah, I'm going to pull back and just wait a little bit. And I think a lot of people are doing that, especially the stackers like me. I think a lot of people are just pulling back and just waiting it out because I think everyone is sort of in agreement that in the stacking community anyway that uh, this is a temporary thing. This will bump the prices up for a bit, bring them back down, but we're still going to see high premiums until the industries, the mega industries that whose livelihood depends on silver, until they re until they change their practices of acquiring silver, be it physical or paper, and until they stop manipulating, we're not going to see any significant changes. And unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime in the near future. So it would take a very well. Unfortunately, I think the only way it will actually uh, come out I don't think we're actually going to come out of this until we have a major economic reset, which that's why everyone's leaning towards at this point in regards to or beyond or beyond uh, getting out of this debt that we have acquired. And there's not obviously there's not enough gold in the world or any precious metal in the world to cover the debt that we have. So as I always tell everyone on the channels that I watch, Salivate Meadow and Ask Yankee and all the other live streams I participate in, as I always say, get your own house in order and just keep stacking. So Eric, you're a Hoosier as well. Whereabouts in the state are you at? I'm in southern Indiana, across from Louisville, Kentucky. Or are you just saying that you and I think alike? I misunderstood your statement there. I thought maybe you were a Hoosier as well. So sorry about that. Okay, Colorado. Yeah, and I tell you what, Eric. Yeah, I think yeah. I mean, that's my mentality, but I think that is the general consensus with the community that this is not good long term. Sure, if you get a good deal, go for it, but I don't really see any good deals right now in silver bullion. I mean, I'm sticking, I made a commitment to myself, December, January, that I was going to stick with constitutional silver and gold this year because I need to get that stocked up. I got plenty of bullion product silver last year, so I did have to cash out some of my Eagles for a financial need a few weeks ago, a couple months ago now, which sucked. But at least I had it. At least I didn't have to find or beg, borrow, and steal the funds to cover what I needed. Fortunately, I was able to go to the LCS and take my ASCs and some of my maples there to cash out. But I can remember when I didn't have that, if you want to call it luxury. So I'm glad I had it, even though it sucked to cash out. At least I had it available for me. Hello, Dalton. Good to see you. You're a stacker in Indiana as well. Well, welcome, fellow Hoosier. There are several people in this community that are either in Indiana or former Hoosiers. Mailman AG over in Idaho is a former Hoosier. He's Ralph. He's the first one on right off the top of my head. There's another one I can't remember who they were now, but there's no one that used to live over here that lives elsewhere now. I believe they live in Colorado now. Now I think about it. And then there's T the Silver Stacker. There's Silver Steeler and his significant other, Winning Image Photography, of course myself. There's a Zell26. There's Rick G's over by Evansville. 2 or 3 people around the Indianapolis area. There's Stack Attack 39's Fine over near Terre Haute. So there's Rhonda near Vincennes. So those are ones right off the top of my head that I can think of. I live inside the state of Indiana currently, and then of course you have people that used to live here that no longer do. A couple of them right off the top of my head. So very large presence of Hoosiers in this community. Dalton, I am in southern Indiana, across from Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, Silver Scorpion, good to see you. So the question for the day, which I'm actually going to bring this up during a Stackers gathering tomorrow night, if anyone's interested to jump on the show, 4:55 p.m. Eastern on my channel here. I'm actually going to pose that question to the audience, and I can pose it right here, right now. So how many got on to the Silver Squeeze train wreck, or I guess the Silver Squeeze event of today? I did not. I pulled myself completely out, and I didn't even watch it. I just sat back and just watched the fireworks remotely. Not you, Silver Silver. Yep. And I think if you go out to all the channels out here, I think the general consensus is that this is nothing more than a smoke screen to make, I don't know. It's lining the bullion dealers' pockets, that's for sure. But I mean, yeah, if you can find a really good deal, cool. But from a long-term longevity, I just don't see any benefit of us doing anything to improve the spot price permanently. That's the key word, is trying to make a permanent improvement. You know, I put that video out earlier this morning, that we do not have that type of influence to make that type of significant change. I mean, you have way too many mega industries out there that can influence the market, and we are not that. So, and nor do I want to be part of that, because if we had that much influence, we would probably want to manipulate the market just as much as the next person, and I don't want anything to do with that. Let's let the markets ride, like there's a reason why it's called a free market, and we are not near a free market when it comes to precious metals anymore. Seems like it does not ride with the supply and demand, as the law of supply and demand is supposed to govern how goods and services are manipulated, how our goods and services prices go up and down. And manipulation is not allowing a proper free market balance in the precious metals. Okay, Dalton. Been through that area a few times there and around Lafayette. They're actually not too far away from me, Dalton, right now. It looks like I'm over here across from Jefferson, or across from Louisville, Kentucky, and Jeffersonville, Indiana. So I'm about an hour and a half away from you right now. Been through Madison many times. My daughter actually went to Hanover College over there, and Hanover, Indiana. Hey, Red Light, good to see you. Welcome. So, for every new person that comes on the stream, I'm going to ask the same question. Did you or did you not partake of the Silver Squeeze hype today? And if you did, or either way, what's your opinion on it? If you did or if you did not, what's your opinion on it? And of course, this is only day one, and who knows how many more days we'll be on this wave, but I'm sure we'll see some numbers going up and down for the next several couple of weeks anyway on this silver squeeze if we made any significant improvement, but difference one way or the other. And again, me personally, I don't think we have that much influence, considering that we basically, when it comes to the precious metals that we are accustomed to, the coins, the bars, the the sizes of precious metals that we are accustomed to daily, only contributes to about 10, no more than 7 or 8%, maybe 9% of the total silver market. The rest of the silver product is for the industries whose livelihood depend on it. Our little ragtag team of stackers probably can't influence it too much. They'll Reddit would sure love to be able to do that. That's for sure. And that's actually what I started doing, Eric. Is I'm for not platinum anyway, but my goal this year is constitutional in gold. So I'm actually not even looking at silver bullion this year anyway. The premiums are just too stupid busy, or too stupid crazy. And knowing I can get lower premium gold, even fractional gold, I think the premiums are actually better from a fractional or quarter ounce fractional standpoint anyway than the silver bullion right now. Just the premiums are just stupid. The last time I checked, the premiums were like 25% on silver. I haven't checked it here recently though. I've just been avoiding acquiring silver bullion here of late because I know the prices are just really high right now. So what do you think for a percentage, Eric? Maybe a 25? Like I said, I haven't looked at the numbers really. So 25% premium. At one time, just what, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I think the premiums back then were like 15%. I'm sure they're higher now. What's the current spot for the gold right now, Dalton? I haven't checked today. Let me check while, 'cause I haven't actually checked today. I'll just head out to SD's real site real quick here, and I'll take a quick gander. So an ounce is 1775 for gold, at least through SD. And you went 1800. That's that's a hell of a good deal. Congratulations on that. If whoever you went through, if their spot was comparable to SD Bullion's, you made a hell of a deal. Can we ask Dalton, who did you go through? Was it a big box store or was it a third party? See, SD's 1 ounce gold coins are 1865, and their spot is what I just say a bit ago. So about $100, I guess. 1775 is their spot, and they're wanting 1865 for SD. So yeah, you made out like a bandit there, Dalton. Bought from your local coin shop. Cool. All right. It's good to have that. Good to have that network. Good to have that relationship there. Always works out. in the, in the end for to each benefit, each person's benefit. So you can establish that relationship, and sometimes you can get a pretty good deal. It takes a little bit of time to get there, but once you start, you just become a regular customer, and you treat them right, and they'll do the same in return. Most people are that way. I do prep a little bit. What's funny about that? Funny story about that is I actually found the stacking community as a result of researching prep. Prior to November last year, November, December 2019, I should say, I didn't really have a whole lot in regards to prep. Um, we've always been being, I guess, an older generation. We've always have been accustomed to having stuff in stock, but not a prep, quote prep mindset. We just kept stuff in stock because it was just convenient for us to have extras of everything here in the house. That way, I didn't have to go back to the store. I didn't. If I didn't have to go to the store every time to get something. I always kept typically about 1 to 2 months supply of stuff. Just naturally did that. Just part of my upbringing. Never a prepper mentality. It wasn't until November to December 19 I really started to get into that mindset. So I wanted to start getting into prepping uh, a little bit. Now, again, that's another question or a topic for another day. Is what's considered too much prep. You have your super preppers that just have tons and tons and tons and tons of everything, and then you have people that just don't have enough. I have probably about 6 months of prep here at my house should I ever need it. Um, Probably a little light in my opinion, but grab a little bit as I can. And it's always good to have a little bit of prep. Even I mean, we saw it firsthand last year just with toilet paper, right? So I mean, I'm not some hoarding prepper where I have like a whole room full of toilet paper or anything like that, but I know they exist out there. So I would say I started prepping about December 2019, and that's probably the best thing I've done from a self-preservation standpoint that I ever have done. And what's funny is, like I said, I started looking at the prepping aspect of things, and I was actually watching. I'm a night shifter, and I was actually watching a 2:30 a.m. infomercial from the U.S. Money Reserve with Chuck Woolery as the host of the commercial or the infomercial. And he was talking about, well, if you had X number of ounces of gold back from 1978, it would be worth. And he had the same number of dollars, fiat dollars from 1978. Your gold would be worth this, whereas your fiat dollars would be a lot less value than the gold. And I'm like, really? So I started researching it. So, and again, it was part of my prepping mentality. It's like, oh, I really need to start getting into it. But I happened to come across that infomercial, and then I thought, okay, well, since I was prepping, what about the financial side of things? Yeah, you have your food, clothing, shelter, and all that. But what about the financial things? And that's when I stumbled into the stacking community and haven't looked back. Yeah, I figure, Dalton, that I figure if we had, from what I've read, from a SHTF perspective, from many sources, it's going to be the first 6 months. It's going to be the most tribulous, the most significant impact will be the first 6 months of a SHTF event. And some people even say it will be within the first 3 months. So for me, I figure 6 months will get me through the initial blow of a very bad situation. And that's why I maintain constitutional for bartering purposes. That's why I can maintain bullion product to in gold, because from my perspective, you need the ability to barter. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just constitutional. It can be other products, and that's part of my prep here is a few extra things that I never use here. But they're good barter tools. But also the constitutional is a good barter, and you're going to need that during the initial impact of an event. And then once the initial impact is over, then you have your bullion behind you to help you reestablish yourself after the event. So that's how I see it, and I hope to God it never comes to it. But at the same time, you want to be prepared as well. So hey, it's all good. Good to see you, my friend. It's been a while. How are you doing? So that's my standpoint. Yeah, I do a little bit of prep, probably about 6 months worth of it, and then my precious metals, constitutional to help me get through the event, and then bullion to help rebuild after the event. All right, it's all good. I'm here since you're up. I'm gonna put you on the stand here, buddy. Silver squeeze, yes or no? Did you fall for the trap? As I put my video out this morning, it's a trap. It's all good. No, very good. It's a trap. And a lot of people, and as I have said before you came on board here a bit ago, it's all good. A lot of people in our community are in the same boat. We just don't see it anything more than a hype. And unfortunately, if it does, it's if it does, if it's going to do anything, it's going to raise the premiums, but it's not going to help sustain the spot price afterwards. It'll bring the spot price up a little bit, but if history is a barometer for the future, it will come right back down because that's how the markets are. It's or even though it may not be a fair market because, quote, fair market because of manipulation, it is still a market nonetheless. We just have to deal with the games that people play to manipulate the prices. But could we as a community influence the spot price? Maybe temporarily, but not anything substantial, that's for sure. Not anything long term lasting or permanent. Hey, Big Apple, good to see you. Welcome. All right, Big Apple, I want to ask you the same question I've been asking everyone coming on board here. Did you fall for the silver squeeze trap? And if you did, or if you didn't, what's your input? What's your opinion on the silver squeeze? Where do you stand on it? And I'm calling it a trap, so you already have my opinion on it. All right, Big Apple, you already got my opinion on it, but makes you wonder. I think the really newbies, the people are just now getting into it. They immediately see the fear of missing out, and they immediately go all gangbusters and buy, 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 buy. But people that have been doing this for a while, which is funny because I've only been doing this for less than a year now, about a year now, I guess. I've only been doing this for about a year now, and to me, and just within the last year, I have grown from a newbie perspective, and I see it differently than I did a year ago. And now, it's like today, could have I went down to the LCS and bought up a bunch of stuff? Sure, but I don't need to. I pulled back and reassess. And right now, I see it as hype. Right now, pump and dump. That's right. It's all good. And that's the funny thing about that. And again, if y'all haven't checked out my video, check it out. I put it out this morning. It's basically falls in line with what everyone is saying here in the chat this evening. As it's a hype. It's a pump and dump. It's people trying to make a quick buck off of something that is not, and that has never been meant to be a quick buck. It's meant to be, a preservation of wealth. It's meant to be a hedge against inflation. It's meant to be something to have in case of a SHTF event. That's what precious metals are about. It's never precious metals have never been anything about quick buck flipping and pumping and dumping. It's never been that way. It's all about long-term savings and financial independence. If you want to invest in making a quick buck, go buy Bitcoin. We'll leave the precious metals out of it. And I think gold maple, everyone has their different way of how they're going to exit. Me personally, my goal is to use my acquirement to retire with. So the intent is to have enough precious metals to where I can retire, and if I need to convert back to fiat to pay my bills, I take a couple of coins down to the LCS, cash them out for some fiat, and go pay my bills. That's my exit strategy. And anything that is left over when I'm dead gets willed over to my kids. Hey, Steel Ringer. Yeah, I am playing with my bots tonight. Baby got bots. I'm testing my bots, and this is what this was tonight. It's just a test, but I got plenty of people on the show here, though. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. I do appreciate it. And if you haven't already done so, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you've not already done so. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, I'm playing with my bots. Because what happens is, especially during the show, my Stackers Gathering show, which anyone that's not been to the show are more than welcome to attend. The show is Sundays, 4:55 p.m. Eastern and 5:55 Eastern on Thursdays. And basically, it's just a water cooler point where we get a bunch of people together and we just talk. It's sort of like what we're doing right now. And bring up some topics while we're a long way. Like, for example, the last topic in the last couple of shows have been to frack or not to frack. That is the question. And I mean, I brought up that topic a couple of weeks ago because I was, as I have mentioned, I am going to focus on constitutional and gold this year. And the original goal for me was buy 1 ounce buffaloes. Just go crazy on buying 1 ounce buffaloes and just keep stocking, keep stacking. And which I thought was a very good idea until I went to the LCS to pick up my 10-gram gold Geiger. I saw these 1 ounces laying in the display case, but all the quarter ounces were gone. So that tells me that the LCS can move quarter ounces more easily than 1 ounces. Obviously for obvious reasons, or fourth the price, right? Well, fourth the price plus some extra premium. But it's easier for an LCS to move fractionals than 1 ounce, or at least my LCS right now. And I would be concerned. I would be concerned at this point because the cost of the spot price of gold is so high that it may be harder. If I have to, like I said, I'm planning on using my precious metals to retire. If I have to go cash out 1 ounce gold coin and pay some bills, is my LCS going to accept that coin? Because he's got to be able to flip it and turn around and make a profit off of it. If no one's buying from him, then why would he buy from me? So that got me thinking from a more of a LCS perspective. I should be thinking more along lines of fractional, because I know at this point the fracs are going to be able to move their fractional gold easier than 1 ounces. But I wouldn't go anything less than quarter ounce. I think quarter ounce is really about the best you can go without killing yourself too much on premiums. Obviously, there's going to be a difference, a premium between a 1 ounce gold and a quarter ounce gold times 4. But if you go with like a 10th ounce, I don't think that's a very wise idea unless gold becomes super expensive. But if gold continues to go up, what's the likelihood of your LCS is willing to buy that 1 ounce coin if you give them four, if you offer them 4 1/4 ounce coins and 1 1 ounce coins, which ones are they going to take? Because they're going to look at it from their from their perspective. They're going to look at it as a, I got to be able to turn around and flip these what I buy. He may be more apt to buy those 1/4 ounces over the 1 ounce. And like I said, I saw that firsthand at my LCS when I saw he had like 4 or 5 1/4 ounces and 3 or 4 1 ounces in the case. One week I went back the next week and all the 1/4 ounces were gone, but the 1 ounces were still there. I guess I need to clarify that gold maple when I said frac, and I was referring to fractional gold. Sorry about that. Yep. Uh, Commodities like that are a requirement, yes, but I was actually referring to fractional gold. To frack or not to frack, that's the question. Is it more wise from, and you have to put yourself in the shoes of the LCS. Is it going to be more profitable for you, Mr. LCS, to buy from me, John Q Public? Which is going to be more profitable for me? Which one's going to be more likely to sell where I can turn around and sell? This 1 ounce coin I buy from this guy or the 4 1/4 ounces? And then like I said, when I saw what I saw the last 2 weeks at the LCS, right now 1/4 ounces are really moving compared to the 1 ounces. Now, a year ago, well, before beer flu, I think it was the other way around. Even during the initial beer flu, it was still a better deal. But I would say about September, October last year, things started. I think there was a pivotal shift between um, product demand, and I think people are starting to lean more towards 1/4 ounces and 1 ounces now. Now, like I said, Go Maple, I think if the prices would come down to where they were pre-COVID, I think it would be a better financial decision to go with 1 ounces. Back when the spot was around 1,200 bucks, I guess. But nowadays, I don't know. I mean, you can sit there and crunch numbers all day long, but and yeah, you may still end up paying a little bit more on the premium for the quarters, but how much of a how much of a spread is it between those 4 1/4 ounces versus the 1 1 ouncer? I mean, how much of a difference in premium is there? Yeah, there's going to be a difference, and more than likely the quarter is going to be more expensive. But you have to stop and think, okay, I bought this, and yes, I paid more for these quarters now than I would have for this 1 ounce now. But I say I keep these 4 1/4 ounces for a short bit, and I retire, and I'm using it to pay my bills. If I take those, that 1 ounce coin to the LCS, is he going to want them back, or am I going to have to go with 1/4 ounces with a better chance of being able to sell it back to the LCS to pay my bills? And that is the argument. Gold Maple is, yeah, the fractionals are more expensive from a premium perspective, but they're easier to move, which means they may actually be of more value to the next person down the road. And which is really sad because I really wanted to get into the 1 ounce buffaloes. I really did, but I don't know if I want to do it now going forward, at least for the time being until the prices come down, if they come down. Yep, that is true. Steel ringer, they are cheaper, which is another perspective. I mean, a lot of people realize that quarter ounces are less expensive than the 1 ounce, and a lot of people realize that they do cost more from a premium perspective. But even with that higher premium for that quarter ounce piece of metal, because the fact that it's not $2,000 plus or $1,900 plus a premium, which may be smaller from a percentage aspect, a quarter ouncer will be more expensive from a percentage aspect in premiums, but it's still going to be cheaper to acquire a quarter ounce, even though the premiums are going to be higher from a percentage perspective. But if the gold prices continue to raise, then any loss of premium that you may encounter with these quarter ounces could very easily be made up. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about just going with maples when I start doing this because I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the eagles. To me, they look like copper. And I have a 1 ounce eagle here, but I don't know. I'm leaning more towards the maples. And should they ever come out, um, fractional Libertads. Hey, Big Silver Treasure. Good to see you. Welcome to my testing stream here. Well, from a you have to look at from gold maple. You have to look at from a artist's perspective. I mean, the Libertads, short of the fact that they have the twins on the coin, the artistry of the coin is spectacular. Now, the Britannias are giving this coin a run for its money, though. The new Britannias are beautiful in comparison to the previous Britannias. But if you take all the 1 ounce, what I call common sovereign coins, so your eagles, your maples, your Britannias, your Cougarans, your Philharmonics, your kangaroos, your Libertads. If you take those common 6 or 7 common sovereigns and you line them next to each other, line them up next to each other, which ones really stand out in quality? Which one really stands out in beauty? Right now, I think the Britannias and the Libertads are almost a dead heat between first and second place. With the Britannias nudging out just a bit above the Libertads. But if you take all those coins, you line them all up next to each other, from a artist perspective, which ones really stand out more? It's not the ego, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm talking about gold. That's what I'm talking about gold maple. And I'm not talking silver. I'm talking about gold. Same. But even with the gold, I mean, I have a Britannia from 2020, and I put it next to my Eagle, and I compare those two next to each other. The Britannia is just better looking, hands down. I didn't get around to getting my maple last year and my gold maple last year. When I started this journey last year, it was my goal to acquire 1 ounce gold coin from each of the common sovereign nations that we typically see around here. Short of the pandas, because I don't want anything to do with China. So if you take away that particular sovereign, you have 6 or 7 coins, and it was my goal last year to acquire one of each one of those sovereign nations. And I did get the EU. I did get the Britannia. Um, what else did I get? I got one other. I can't remember what it was now. It's in my safe. I don't feel like digging it out. But I did acquire 3 of the 7 last year. So I still need to pick up 2020s gold 1 ounces just to wrap up my goal of acquiring 1 ounce gold coins from each of the common sovereign nations from 2020. And I did that just for me as a to commemorate my the start of my stacking journey. Once I get those once I get those 6 or 7 coins done out of the way and put in the safe forever, then I'm just looking at the weight and the best premiums at that point going forward. Hey, Plumber, good to see you. So that is my standpoint from it. And well, Plumber, while you're on here, who else is on here since I last mentioned it? Uh, Big Silver. All right, let me ask both of you guys the same question. Plumber Stacker and Big Silver Treasure. Did you fall for the Silver Squeeze event today? And yes or no, and what's your opinion on either way? Yeah, Chinese pans are nice, but they got the they got that stupid smile on their faces now. Pandas don't smile. There is a artistry term for that. Silver Joker can actually tell you what it is. He knows about this artistry term when it comes to animal characters having smiles on their faces. There's an artist term for it, and I don't like to see smiles on animal faces. So no different from you. Yep. All right. So just another day for you. Squeeze or no squeeze. I think it's just, as I have mentioned, to me, it's just hype. They're they're taking money away from people that don't know better. That's the best way to describe it. You know, a year ago, if this would have happened a year ago, I've been all over it. You know, being very green as I was a year ago. Nowadays, hell no. Nowadays, I just sit back and watch the show, watch the fireworks, and just look and just watch the markets and wait for dips to occur and buy when the dips occur, and try to drive down my dollar cost average. Try to drive that down as much as I can. So when something like this type of hype was going on, I just sit back and watch the numbers, and I'll continue to store my fiat. So when the time's right, I will make that acquirement when the time is right. But today was not the time. Yep, too many whales and big banks control it. That's right, and that's why I put out in my video this morning. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. Basically, it is it's basically someone um, the squeeze is just trying to feed off other people's fear of missing out, and don't do it. Be wise about it. Pull yourself back, reassess, and then if you feel like it's still a good idea, go for it. If you want to convert fiat, absolutely do it as much as you can, as often as you can, but within budget. And don't let fear of missing out govern how you acquire your precious metals. So, opinion. Who on here getting put into the chat? You're from a artistry perspective. Which coin is the most artist attractive? Most artist, most attractive coin? Is it your Britannias? Is it your Libertas? Is it your Eagles, Maples? Put into the chat what you feel is the best looking coin out there. Gold wise, I'm sure. Let me clarify that for gold. All right, Plumber, I'll talk to you later, bud. And while you're doing that, I'm going to check to see how the bots are going, how they're doing. Try not to blow out your speakers this time, like I did last time. I apologize for that, guys, earlier. So are you guys seeing the bot chatter every 5 minutes or so? I don't see it on my stream. It's supposed to send out something about every 5 minutes. After 5 messages, at least 5 messages, I'll send out something every 5 minutes. And I don't see it on my live chat. I know it came on earlier. I saw it queue up. I don't see it in my chat. Yep, I know I turned it on. Go ahead and guys chat amongst yourselves while I play around with this, see why I'm not getting my bot to talk here. I'll get right back to you. Well, hell. Helps to turn the damn thing on. I forgot to slide that over to the right to say, yeah, turn it on, you dumbass. All right, here in a few minutes, you should see a CloudBot message saying it's online. Oh, man. I want to check the Nightbot too, because I may have forgot to turn that on as well. Yeah, the Nightbot seems to be capturing information. That's good. Now, I was looking at the difference between the Nightbot and the CloudBot, and they're basically identical, except the Nightbot actually keeps a running list of regular audience members in the Nightbot to help help me identify people that are regulars into my show. I know Steel Ringer's in here all the time, for example, and Plumber comes in all the time. So just trying to get a little bit of data to see who's my regulars into the show. That way you can be shouted out and rewarded appropriately. But I gotta have data. Gotta have data. So now we should see something from the bots here in a few minutes here. Let me know if you see anything come through or not. Bots will ruin humanity. Hey, Mopar, good to see you. All right, questions up, Mopar. Did you fall for the silver squeeze fiasco? Well, I know you're new, Big Apple, but you've been around. I understood you. Something happened to your original channel. I'm sorry to hear that. I understand you had to start over, so we will make sure to get you back up to where you were on your numbers. Whereabouts were you on your friends, your subscribers last on your previous rendition of Big Apple Stacker? F no. Well, I agree with you, Mopar. It's big old hype to me. Yeah, your friends, Big Apple Stacker. How many friends, how many subscribers did you have on your previous channel? You know, Mopar, I was just saying a bit ago that, if I would have, if I would have came on board, if this fiasco was started a year ago for me as a complete greenhorn, I would have been all over it from a fear of missing out perspective, but I have grown and I see this nothing more than hype. And I see this as nothing more than people taking advantage of novice, uneducated, not uneducated, lack of knowledge people. I see this as, from a stacker's perspective, it's not a good thing to try to. I mean, we as stackers don't have the influence to drive the spot price up and keep it up. I mean, that's all driven by industry, but or the silver squeeze people want to see it differently. All right, there's my bot going off now. All right. Hey, Yankee, good to see you, my friend. Welcome. I'm just doing some testing with my bots here, uh, talking a little bit about the silver squeeze. So, Yankee Stack, and did you partake? I know the answer here, but I want to ask you anyway. Did you partake of the silver squeeze event? I know your answer here, but I want to hear it from you anyway. Got Mopar's opinion on it, and it's the general consensus. So, my opinion on it, and again, people that's on Nets came on to the stream here a bit ago. My opinion on it is it's a it's a trap. It's a trap. A year, as I said, a year ago I would have, yes and no. All right. A year ago I would have fell for it hook, line, and sinker because I was so green into it. But nowadays I'm a lot more educated, and the fiasco of the silver squeeze doesn't startle me anymore. I'll sit back and I'll assess, and if I get a little itchy, I'll pull myself back and I'll reassess. And a lot of times, I just sit back and just keep collecting the fiat. So when the right time does come, that's when I do the conversion. All right, Yankee. So yes and no. All right. So you have a video coming, or are you working on it? You working on it now, or is it already out? Yes, I heard your analysis Thursday. Your rant. What do you mean? Can I get Yankee on with me, Eric? You talking about on the stream here? Okay, 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 Yankee. Yeah, looking forward to seeing that video. Tim's always a good guy to have an interview, have a chat with. One of these days I get back up that way, I'll have to swing by there, introduce myself to him and shake his hand at a 6 foot distance, of course. Yeah, well, I don't have the Melon app going to where I can bring in guests tonight. However, that is how I do my show every Sunday and every Thursday. I actually bring up a Stackers Gathering through Melon app, and then I post into the chat the link into Melon app, and then people can dial into the show. So, if anyone's around tomorrow, 4:55 p.m. on my channel here, I'll have a Stackers Gathering will be for about an hour. Usually, I usually go about an hour, sometimes a little over. I do that on Sundays and I do that on Thursdays. I do the Thursday show is at 5:55 p.m. before Ask Yankee Live, before his 7 o'clock show. Hey, U.S. Silverstack, good to see you. So, U.S., let me ask you this. I'm asking this question. Everyone that comes into the stream here, did you or did you not partake of the Silver Squeeze event that occurred today? And if you so, yay or nay, and what's your opinion on it? And if you haven't already done so, everyone, please smash that like button. Like I said, I just came online here just to test my bots. I got my bots going today, so they are working. It helps to actually turn them on, as I discovered 10 minutes ago. Well, why did it do that? It's all good. I didn't tell it to put you on timeout for 5 seconds. It's all good. I don't know why I did that. I'll have to look into that. I did not set up any parameters like that. Sorry about that. It's only for 5 seconds though, so you should be back. I'll have to figure out why I did that to you because it's probably a little bit too conservative for my taste anyway. Yeah, I'll have to figure out why I did that, Yankee. I kept the defaults in there. I might have to scale it back a little bit. Well, at least I know it's working. So I'm using the CloudBot to do the timed the messaging to hit the like button and timed you out for 5 seconds too, Yankee. What the heck? Guess it doesn't like the caps. All right. I haven't done any tweaking of the actual bots. I just set them up and turn them on and put in a couple messages to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel and donations are always appreciated. That's the only thing I've done to the bots to make them work. I haven't done anything. I haven't done any more customizing of the bots right now. Bad bot. Put him on timeout. Uh, just expanding the experience for a Stackers Gathering. So yeah, when it coming going back to the Silver Squeeze, I would, yeah, a year ago I would have been hook, line and sinker for it, but not anymore. Now I see this, I just sort of sit back and like, all right, whatever, just scale back here and just pull back and watch the fireworks for a little bit and go forward from there. But I think if you're acquiring precious metals in the attempt to drive down your dollar cost average, it doesn't matter what these events when these events come up. You're looking as a stacker. I'm looking for the lowest premium for in the most weight. But that being said, I also look at the coinage that I know will be, well, that will actually tighten up my spread between buy and sell. So that being said, I don't acquire generics anymore. I used to when I first started into it, but I learned that coins are better off to reduce the spread between buy and sell. So I I only acquire coins now in silver anyway, or constitutional, because I'm looking at, you know, the most weight and the lowest spread and the best premium. It's under cloud bot. Okay, yeah, I'll turn that off here. That's, I don't know, because I can tell you exactly who would get timed out every time. It'd be Donald in New Mexico. He would get timed out every time because he does everything in caps for Donald in New Mexico. Let me turn that off. Let me turn off the cap protection anyway, because that's not necessary. Sure, it was the caps because it's not actually turned on. The cap protection is turned. The CloudBot is active, but the cap protection is turned off right now. And in fact, all the mod tools are turned off. So I'm not sure what caused it. The cap. I don't know what caught it. Was it the Nightbot? Maybe it was the Nightbot that caught it. But I didn't think I turned anything on there either. Yeah, I'll figure it out and get try not to make it so liberal. Try or so conservative, I guess. Actually, make my bot a little bit more liberal. Stop being so conservative, bot. Hey, Sterling Campbell, it's good to see you. All right, so you're up, Sterling. Question of the night. I'm asking everyone in the audience here during my testing of my bots here. Did you partake of the Silver Squeeze event today? Yes or no? And what's your opinion either way? So my opinion on it is it's a trap. Check out my video from this morning. It's a trap. My public service announcement about it. I think for the most part, the community is aware that this is all smoke and mirrors. But you know, there's always going to be those ones that are just now getting into it and that they don't want to they don't want to miss out. So they jump in all, you know, they jump into it not as well educated as it could be for fear of missing out. And for me, not anymore. For me, you know, if I see a fiasco like this going on, I just scale back and pull back and just reassess before I actually do any type of conversion. But yeah, a year ago, absolutely, I would have jumped all over this, but not anymore. I know better nowadays, and we've seen this. You know, what I can think of 3 or 4 times in the last year we've seen this fiasco, and just under different, you know, situations. Really, we had to see it. We had a situation back before Black Friday. Things were going stupid high, and then conveniently enough, when Black Friday occurred, all the prices went down. I should have bought them, but I didn't. but I didn't have the funds, so oh well. But it seems like it comes in waves. You have this let's make money rich quick gimmick pop up, and they always, unfortunately, they always capture a couple of fish, but for the most part, people know just you know pull back and just watch and just reassess. Yep, and I think they just put a little bit more emphasis on it today, Sterling, because of this Reddit whatever fiasco. So I think, from looking at my crystal ball sitting here in front of me, I think it's just people just trying to make a quick dollar, and that's not how it works. If you want to make a quick dollar, go buy a Bitcoin. Don't pull precious metals into it. And if I don't want to go down the Bitcoin avenue, but from my perspective, Bitcoins and Ethereum and all the other cryptocurrencies days are limited because I think once central banking industries get a hold of the technology and they make it to their liking, that will become the new digital currency going forward. May take a couple more years, but I think, in my personal opinion, again, looking at my crystal ball, I think it's just a matter of time that digital currency will be just another regulated form, another regulated currency that will be controlled and manipulated by a central banking system, because the banking system will not want to lose control. I can guarantee that. Hey, Coin Happy Dude, how are you doing this evening? Welcome. So, Coin Happy Dude, did you partake of the Silver Squeeze event today? Yes or no? And what's your opinion? You already heard my opinion just now, but what's your opinion on it? The gold maple, I think why people say that Bitcoins are limited is because it's digital, which is basically ones and zeros, right? And my understanding, and I'm far from an expert, so take it for what it's worth. My understanding is because of the fact that it's digital, and because the block tool chain has a limited number of ones and zeros available. That's why they're saying there's only going to be like 21 whatever million billion whatever coins available, because you are limited by the number of ones and zeros in the block tool chain. That's my understanding. But again, I'm far from any expert when it comes to Bitcoin. I just know that's out there, and I know that it's good for flip, buy it, make it some money and flip it, but it's not good for a long-term strategy in preserving your wealth. That's what the precious metals is about. All right, Mopar, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Appreciate it. If you get a chance, come by tomorrow night, 4:55 p.m. Eastern. Yep, contra dollars out in there. Yep. All right, Gold Maple. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate your time on this. Thanks for helping me test things out. We'll talk to you next time. And everyone out there, if you haven't already done so, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you all haven't done so already. I would appreciate that. And this tonight was just testing of my two bots, and so far so good. Actually, I need to make a couple of adjustments apparently, but that's all right. I'll get that squared away, and just getting a little bit more involved in the bots of into the show for Sundays and Thursdays because well I'm learning just participating as the host for a stackers gathering is I'll get so fixated on the guest who's talking that I'll forget about, and I don't mean to, and really I don't. I'll forget about the audience in the chat because I'm focused, I'm fixated on that conversation. Because when you have one, two, three, four people on here like I did Thursday, it's hard to. I don't know how the big guys do. I don't know how they can juggle between everything, but they have it's an art definitely. But when you have a conversation going on inside of Melon app or StreamYards or whatever your stream platform is, you get a lot of people involved. The chat, the chat gets left behind. I don't want to do that. So I'm hoping that the bot will help me out with here to keep others and keep the audience, keep the chat engaged. Good night, No Mopar. Have a good one, buddy. Appreciate it. You're gonna be watching it very carefully, Coin Happy. All right. Did you actually partake of any silver today, or did you pull back and just watched and wait and see what happens? You think you're going to be watching it very carefully, but you didn't actually do anything today? Is that my understanding then? Having a great mod makes a huge difference. Yeah, I'm building up my moderators. That's for sure. Because yeah, I mean whenever I have that conversation going on, it's hard to focus on the chat. And I hate to leave people hanging like that, but it happens. So yeah, definitely one of the advantages as being a mod. But then you have some channels that make everyone a mod, and then there's no difference. So I actually have 3 or 4 mods now, Eric. As more regulars come onto the show, I make them mods. So if you want to be a mod, come on down to the show more often. I'll make you a mod. The invitation's always out there to y'all. For more, in fact, Steel Ringer, I made him a mod yesterday. He is a regular on my show now, so I made him a mod just a couple days ago. So yeah, I made Plumber a mod. I made Amanda a mod, and a couple other people. So I do have a starting foundation of mods. You just want to play in the chats, yeah. I haven't gotten all the toys on the bots going yet, Sterling, but maybe in time. You already mod too many channels, yeah. Yep, it's definitely a hype, Coin Happy, and but what's the phrase? What's the saying? They always say there's suckers born every minute. So you're always going to have that person that jumps in for fear of missing out. But this community as a whole does not believe in the general consensus in the chat this evening is the the silver squeeze is a hype, just smoke and mirrors or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have a solid foundation to, if their goal, Reddit or whomever, if their goal is to drive up the silver price, the spot silver price, we as a community cannot do that. We have to play the game that the big dog will industries and the banking industries have to, that they deal with those numbers, and they do their manipulation. Yeah, we might be able to bump up the number a little bit, but the industry will bring it back down because that's where the market is, and regardless if it's manipulated or not, that's where the market is. And the only disadvantage I see with hype like this is dealers may increase their premiums because the demand is there, but when the spot price comes back down, they typically do not come back down equivalently to the spot price. So the premiums still high and stay high. So for long term, it's not good for us. And of course, when they're talking about raising the spot price to $50 an ounce, that is completely possible, but not. But it takes the effort of the industries that depend on silver for their livelihood, and the banking industries, to manipulate the markets, or manipulate the paper to best accommodate them. That will increase the price, unfortunately. But at the same time, I'm sort of glad we do not have the ability to manipulate the price. Otherwise, we do the exact same thing as the big dogs do now. So, and I'm not into that. All right, everybody. I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it. It's been about 90 minutes, and the bots are working as I have them set up right now. I got to do a little bit of tweaking to do because they timed out a couple of people earlier because of caps. I think I'll have to research that, but and then adjust accordingly. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it and let y'all get back to whatever you guys were doing. Thanks for stopping by and joining the channel for a short bit. I do appreciate that. And if you are available, 4:55 p.m. Eastern tomorrow at a Stackers gathering, I hope you can attend. We can continue on this conversation at that time, really, because that's basically what we'll be talking about tomorrow, I'm sure, anyway. So we can do it again tomorrow, and keep playing with my bots along the way too. So, hey Scott, I'm just about ready to call it. I'm sorry, buddy. But since you're here, let me ask the quick question here, Scott. Did you or did you not partake of the Silver Squeeze event today? And what's your opinion on either way? I didn't know you came in earlier, Scott. Sorry about that. So you've been listening, Scott. You know my opinion on it. So what's your opinion on it? Did you partake, or are you sitting back and waiting to see where the chips fall as they may? And I think everyone, for the most part, in this community are on the same consensus as I. We're just sitting back and watching the numbers and seeing what the market does going forward. Because it's like the new car smell. Everyone wants to jump in. Everyone wants to jump in, but everyone wants the latest, greatest thing. But I've learned many, many years ago I'm low maintenance, and I don't need the latest, greatest thing. I just need functionality. So I don't have to have the biggest, brightest, shiniest toy out there, or in this case, I don't have to go into this silver squeeze hoopla, because my eyes are much more wide open now than they were a year ago. But a newbie, someone coming just now getting into the market, just getting into the community, just getting into their journey, may not understand. And that's what this is about, is just to spread the word, just to educate people that just because it's out there doesn't mean you have to partake. You can sit back and just let it ride for a little bit. Just continue collecting up your fiat, or if you want to convert your fiat, by all means do so. Just put it into something else besides silver bullion right now. For me, I'm putting it into gold, and I'm putting it into constitutional. So there's other tangible assets out there too. It don't have necessarily have to be precious metals for that matter. But right now, yeah, silver is not the place to be from a bullion perspective. So Oh, okay, Scott. So, well, see, for you, you're doing it to drive down your dollar cost average. That's what if you have that schedule, that's good. I mean, you see, you may have to pay a little bit more this week and a little bit less next week, but it works out. It breaks even in time, and then it actually lowers in time. It just takes time, right? So, all right, everyone, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. And thanks for stopping by and checking out the stream, helping me test. I do appreciate participation, and we will see you tomorrow night, 4:55 p.m. Eastern Time on a Stackers Gathering. Have a good night, and just keep stacking.